Divine Timing, Finding Peace in Every Delay. Written by Ronnie Rowland. Narrated by Roman Cross. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. Introduction. Have you ever found yourself frustrated, wondering why you're stuck waiting? Why doors aren't opening? Why life isn't unfolding according to plan? What if I told you that every delay, every detour, is a powerful tool in God's hand, shaping your life in ways you may not see yet? Imagine what it would feel like to live with a faith so deep, so steady, that no setback could shake it. You're about to embark on a journey into the heart of divine timing, an exploration that goes beyond simply trusting the process. This book is about uncovering the true freedom that comes when we stop resisting the pauses and embrace each delay as an essential part of God's work in us. In Divine Timing, you'll discover how to release anxiety over things you can't control and start living with a peace that transcends circumstance. This book isn't just about waiting, it's about learning how to find deep, unshakable peace and fulfillment in the process. Here, you'll uncover truths that most people never realize, truths that will allow you to move from frustration to clarity, from uncertainty to purpose, every time life seems to make you wait. What if each delay held a unique gift, a lesson, a refining of character, a divine alignment that's perfectly crafted for you? Imagine being so confident in God's plan that you no longer feel disappointment or frustration when things go wrong, but instead feel empowered, knowing that every detour is part of something greater. I know you might be facing delays or setbacks right now, areas where things feel stagnant, where the why and when are shrouded in uncertainty. Maybe you're questioning if all the waiting is worth it, or wondering if you're falling behind. This book speaks to those feelings and answers the questions so many of us carry in silence. You'll find compassion and understanding here, along with the assurance that your journey, with all its twists and turns, has a purpose woven by divine hands. In these pages, I'll guide you through understanding the deeper meaning behind waiting, help you develop a mindset that transforms your trials into opportunities, and show you how to rest in a peace that is truly beyond understanding. You are not alone in this journey, and this book is here to be a companion, a guide, and a source of unwavering hope. Chapter 1. The Call to Trust. Embracing God's Blueprint. In every heart lies a silent question, whispered in moments of doubt, of hardship, and of uncertainty. Am I really where I'm supposed to be? This question isn't just a fleeting worry, it's a deep spiritual pull, an invitation to something greater. We live in a world obsessed with control, where everyone craves certainty, mastery, and predictability. But what if the truest power lay not in knowing every step, but in trusting an unseen path, a divine blueprint designed with ultimate wisdom? In this first chapter, let us reframe trust, not as a passive act, but as a bold, transformative step toward embracing God's vision for us. Trusting God is not weakness, it's spiritual strength. When we choose to trust deeply in the divine plan, we invite peace, resilience, and a sense of purpose into our lives. To live with this kind of trust is to feel anchored even in turbulent waters, grounded in a truth that cannot be shaken. Trust in God is radical in its simplicity and powerful in its complexity. It's the understanding that there exists a divine hand guiding each step we take, even if we don't understand why certain things happen or why specific paths unfold. To trust God's plan is to recognize that we may not know all the answers, but we are seen, known, and loved by a Creator who does. Imagine for a moment that your life is a tapestry. Each thread, every joy, every heartbreak, every triumph, and every setback is woven with intentionality. Up close, these threads might look chaotic, and the colors may seem mismatched. But step back, and the design is beautiful, each detail part of a greater, breathtaking pattern. This is the divine blueprint of your life. Fear often stands in opposition to trust. When things go wrong, our instincts tell us to take control, fix the situation, and secure our future. Yet, leaning into trust is choosing to release control, allowing space for a different outcome, one aligned with God's plan. Imagine the peace that comes from releasing anxiety about the future and instead, living fully in each present moment, believing that it has a purpose. In moments of fear or uncertainty, remember that trusting God doesn't require having all the answers. It requires faith that, regardless of the outcome, you are precisely where you need to be. When we trust deeply, Fear fades, replaced by a serene knowing that, even if the path ahead looks uncertain, we are not walking it alone. Faith isn't simply an idea, it's an anchor. In life's storms, when waves crash and winds blow, our faith keeps us steady. God's love is our constant in times of change, our foundation when everything else feels unstable. Faith is a source of strength that roots us firmly, no matter the conditions around us. Consider the image of a ship anchored in the harbor during a storm. The vessel might rock with the wind and waves, but it remains secure. Similarly, trust is the anchor that holds us fast, ensuring that we are not overcome by life's tempests. This kind of faith requires an open heart, one that's willing to lean on God, even when logic says otherwise. Trusting God begins with a choice, a decision to believe in a plan beyond our own understanding. What does trust look like in your life right now? Is it something you live by, or is it an idea you aspire to but haven't fully embraced? Ask yourself, what would change if you trusted completely in God's plan, even if the future looked uncertain? As you reflect, imagine the freedom that comes with releasing the need to know every outcome. True trust allows you to live with an open heart and an unclenched fist. With this trust, life's struggles don't disappear, but they become lighter, viewed as steps in a divine journey rather than random hardships. This book is a journey into unshakable trust. In each chapter, we will explore different aspects of God's plan, understanding how each trial, blessing, and detour contributes to your purpose. Let this chapter serve as a foundation, a call to trust not just in theory, but in practice. Trust is a choice, and each day you choose it, you're not just building faith, you're building a life that reflects God's divine design. Let this be the start of a journey toward complete trust, a path that will take us through the art of surrender, the beauty of resilience, the strength in trials, and the profound peace found in knowing that every moment, every step is part of a greater, beautiful plan crafted by the one who knows you best. Chapter 2. The Gift of Surrender. Letting go of control. In a world that teaches us to plan, strategize, and build our way to success, surrender may feel counterintuitive. We're conditioned to believe that more control leads to better outcomes, that if we could just manage every detail, life would unfold as we desire. But what if surrender, the act of releasing control, is actually a higher form of wisdom? What if letting go allows God to work in ways beyond our understanding? In this chapter, we explore the transformative power of surrendering to God's plan. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, it means yielding to a wisdom greater than our own, trusting that even if the path isn't clear to us, it's entirely known to God. Surrender is often misunderstood. It's not about passivity or inaction. It's not about letting life happen to us without any effort or care. True surrender is an intentional act of trust. It's the decision to release our grip on what we cannot control and open ourselves to possibilities we may not have envisioned. Imagine holding a tightly clenched fist. Your hand is filled with energy, with a need to control and contain. But in that clenched fist, there's no room for anything new to enter. Now imagine slowly opening your hand, palm facing up, allowing yourself to receive. That's the essence of surrender, the openness to receive God's guidance, to allow His plan to unfold, even when we don't understand it. The strength required to surrender is often underestimated. It takes courage to let go of our fears, our need to control outcomes, and our attachment to specific results. When we choose to surrender, we are acknowledging that our understanding is limited, while God's is infinite. This act of humility is powerful. It reminds us that we are part of something greater, and that we don't need to bear the weight of every decision and outcome alone. Surrendering also means letting go of the why in moments of hardship. Often we find ourselves questioning, why did this happen? Or why didn't things go as planned? But true surrender means releasing the need for immediate answers. It's the belief that, in time, everything will make sense, that each experience, good or challenging, has a role in our spiritual growth. Surrendering isn't a single moment, it's a practice, a way of living. Here are some steps to cultivate surrender in your daily life. 1. Release the outcome. Whenever you feel attached to a specific result, pause. Remind yourself that the outcome is not in your hands, but in God's. A simple prayer, "I trust you with this," can be a powerful act of release. 2. Cultivate patience. Surrender requires patience. a willingness to wait without rushing. The next time you feel hurried to make a decision or impatient for results, practice patience as a form of trust. 3. Reflect on past moments of surrender. Think back to times when you surrendered to God's plan and things worked out in unexpected, beautiful ways. Use these memories as anchors to remind yourself of the peace that surrender brings. 4. Open to unseen paths. When life doesn't go as planned, choose to see it as an invitation to a path you hadn't considered. When a door closes, ask God to reveal the door He intends for you to walk through. Surrender is freedom from the weight of constant worry and control. When we trust God's hand in our lives, we're freed from the anxiety of making every detail go our way. This freedom isn't just about peace of mind, it's about making space for God's miracles. We may be striving for what we think we need, while God, in His love, is preparing something even better. Consider the analogy of a river flowing toward the sea. The water moves freely, unburdened, guided by a natural current. It doesn't resist the rocks or turns, instead it flows around them, taking shape as it encounters different paths. Like this river, our lives are most at peace when we let go of resistance and allow God's current to guide us. What areas of your life feel like they require surrender? Is there something specific, a goal, a relationship, or a decision that you've been trying to control? How might releasing your grip on this area open you to greater peace? Take a moment to invite surrender into this part of your life. Visualize yourself letting go, releasing any tension, and opening up to the belief that God's plan is unfolding as it should. As you let go, notice how your heart feels lighter, how your spirit opens. Surrender is not a loss of control. It's a conscious decision to place control in divine hands. When we surrender, we don't stop caring or striving, we simply trust that we are guided and that, even if we encounter setbacks, they serve a purpose. As you practice surrender, you'll find an inner peace that isn't shaken by life's uncertainties. Let this be a chapter you return to whenever you feel overwhelmed or unsure. The act of surrender is a gift we can give ourselves daily, a reminder that even when we don't see the whole picture, God does. As you move forward, keep this truth close to your heart. Surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate strength, the courage to let go and let God. Chapter 3. Strength through trials. How challenges refine you. When life feels like a series of trials, it's natural to wonder why certain hardships come our way. Often we interpret challenges as setbacks, obstacles in our path that divert us from what we desire. But what if each trial, each difficulty, was an essential part of a divine refining process? What if these challenges were not meant to hinder us, but to make us stronger, shaping us into the individuals we're meant to become? This chapter invites you to see your trials not as burdens, but as blessings in disguise. Every hardship is an opportunity, a chisel that sculpts your spirit, your patience, and your faith. To embrace God's plan fully, we must understand that He uses life's challenges to refine us, to draw out qualities we may not know we possess, and to strengthen us in ways only trials can achieve. We often shy away from pain and hardship, instinctively trying to avoid discomfort. Yet, in doing so, we miss the opportunity to grow. God allows challenges in our lives not to punish us, but to teach us, to deepen our resilience, and to prepare us for the unique purpose He has crafted for us. Think of challenges as a refiner's fire. Just as precious metals are purified through intense heat, so too are we made stronger, more resilient, and more valuable through our struggles. In each trial, there is a lesson, a hidden blessing, and an invitation to rise stronger and more faithful. Each setback becomes a stepping stone when we understand its purpose and see it as a tool God uses to draw us closer to Him. This mindset shift can transform your life, allowing you to see each challenge as a necessary part of your journey. Facing trials requires resilience, not just the kind of resilience that gets us through a tough day, but a deep, spiritual resilience rooted in trust. Spiritual resilience isn't about bearing burdens with a heavy heart. It's about finding peace in the midst of hardship, knowing that God walks with us. When we understand that each challenge has a purpose, our struggles become bearable, even meaningful. Here are ways to cultivate spiritual resilience in the face of challenges. 1. Shift your perspective. When a challenge arises, remind yourself that this trial is temporary, but has a purpose. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Or how is this refining me? 2. Lean on God's strength. In moments when you feel weak, remember that you don't have to endure challenges alone. Pray for God's guidance and strength. Trust that He is present, offering support when you need it most. 3. Reflect on past victories. Remembering past trials and the growth they brought can reinforce your ability to face current challenges. Reflect on how past struggles have strengthened you and trust that this one will do the same. 4. Embrace the unknown. Spiritual resilience grows when we accept that we may not always understand God's plan but choose to trust it anyway. This acceptance is a testament to our faith and our willingness to embrace divine timing. Every battle we face has a blessing hidden within it, even if we can't see it in the moment. Sometimes that blessing is strength, other times it's a newfound compassion, patience, or wisdom. Challenges can serve as mirrors, revealing parts of ourselves that need healing or growth. They teach us humility, empathy, and patience, qualities that draw us closer to God's heart. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely imprisoned, and forgotten, Joseph's life was a series of hardships. Yet each trial prepared him for a greater purpose. When he eventually rose to a position of influence, he was able to use his experiences to bring blessings not only to himself but to his family and people. His trials shaped him into a vessel for God's purpose, a testament to the blessing hidden within each battle. What challenges are you facing right now? What qualities might God be nurturing within you through these trials? Take a moment to identify one difficulty in your life and reflect on how it's shaping your character, strengthening your faith, or drawing you closer to God. As you reflect, consider writing down your thoughts. Use this as an opportunity to see your challenge from a new perspective. Perhaps this trial is teaching you patience, building empathy, or developing resilience. Allow yourself to recognize the refining process at work within you. In every trial, there is growth, and in every hardship, there is an invitation to become stronger. When we learn to see challenges as part of God's refining process, we begin to approach life with a renewed sense of strength and resilience. Trusting that each struggle has a purpose allows us to face difficulties with courage, knowing that we are being prepared for a divine purpose greater than we may realize. Let this chapter serve as a reminder that you are stronger than you may believe, and that with each challenge God is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for what lies ahead. Embrace this process with an open heart, knowing that through every trial, you are becoming the person He intends you to be. Chapter 4. Anchored in Faith. Staying unmoved in uncertainty. In a world marked by constant change, uncertainty is one of the few constants we can count on. From sudden changes in personal circumstances to global shifts, life can often feel like an unpredictable ocean. And in these times, it's easy to feel adrift, searching for something solid to cling to. How do we find stability when everything around us seems so uncertain? This chapter is an invitation to see faith as your anchor, a steady foundation that keeps you grounded no matter the circumstances. Anchoring in faith doesn't mean that storms won't come. It means you are rooted, able to remain steady and calm, even when the waters rise. This is the strength of unwavering faith, the quiet power of trust that allows you to face the unknown with confidence and peace. Anchoring yourself in faith gives you a foundation that is not shaken by the world's turbulence. When your faith is strong, you're able to move forward with assurance, even if you don't know the outcome. You aren't swayed by every new worry or setback because your trust in God's plan gives you an unshakable calm. Picture a tree with deep roots. No matter how strong the winds blow, the tree stands firm because its roots run deep into the soil. Faith works the same way. When we deepen our trust in God, we develop a spiritual root system that holds us steady in life's storms. It's this grounding that allows us to face uncertainty with a sense of peace, knowing that we are anchored to something greater than ourselves. In times of uncertainty, it's natural to feel fear. The unknown can be intimidating. But faith invites us to choose a different response. Rather than letting fear dictate our actions, faith encourages us to lean on a belief in God's guidance and timing. When we choose faith over fear, we open ourselves to a deeper experience of trust. This isn't a blind leap, it's a calculated act of courage, rooted in the knowledge that God's plan is at work, even when we can't see it. Consider each moment of uncertainty as a chance to practice this choice. Faith isn't a one-time decision, it's a daily commitment to trust God over and over again. And with each act of faith, your foundation grows stronger, your roots run deeper, and you become more capable of facing life's uncertainties without being swayed. Anchoring in faith is not just a mindset, it's a practice. Here are ways to stay grounded in faith, especially in uncertain times. 1. Daily prayer and reflection. Spend a few moments each day reconnecting with God. Prayer is a way to reinforce your foundation, to remind yourself that you're not alone, and that you are guided by a divine hand. 2. Remind yourself of God's promises. Scripture is filled with promises of God's faithfulness. Reflecting on verses that emphasize His constant presence and guidance can help you feel supported and anchored. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. 3. Build a faith-based support system. Surrounding yourself with people who share your faith can reinforce your anchor. Having friends or family members who can offer support, prayer, and encouragement during uncertain times can be a powerful source of strength. 4. Embrace small steps of faith. When the future feels uncertain, sometimes all we can do is take the next right step. Trust that each small act of faith leads to something greater, even if the outcome isn't immediately clear. Anchoring in faith doesn't mean we ignore the challenges or deny our fears. It means we face them with a new perspective. When we trust in God's plan, we can find peace in the middle of uncertainty. This peace doesn't come from knowing the answers, but from knowing that God holds the answers. It's an inner calm that allows us to meet life's challenges with resilience, strength, and hope. Imagine a sailor navigating a storm. Even as the wind howls and the waves crash, the sailor's trust in the anchor allows him to focus, knowing that he is secure. Like this sailor, when we are anchored in faith, we can navigate life's storms with a quiet confidence, knowing that our faith holds us steady. Where in your life do you feel the need for an anchor? What uncertainties are you currently facing? Take a moment to reflect on these areas and invite God to be your anchor. Visualize yourself rooted deeply in trust, unmoved by external changes, grounded in the belief that you are supported and guided. As you reflect, remind yourself that faith is not the absence of doubt, but the willingness to trust despite doubt. Each time you choose to anchor yourself in faith, you strengthen your ability to face life's uncertainties with courage and peace. To live with faith as your anchor is to find a calm in life's chaos, a peace that surpasses understanding. As you move forward, remember that the storms may come, but your foundation is secure. Anchoring in faith gives you the resilience to weather any storm, the confidence to face the unknown, and the peace to trust God's plan. Let this chapter serve as a reminder to deepen your faith, to practice anchoring yourself in the knowledge that God is your foundation, and to trust that His plan is unfolding in ways you may not yet see. Through every uncertainty, let your faith be your steady ground. Chapter 5. Finding peace in God's timing. Embracing patience. In today's fast-paced world, waiting has become one of life's greatest frustrations. We live in a culture of immediacy, where everything from food to information is available at our fingertips. But while the world encourages us to seek instant results, God often asks us to wait. And in that waiting, there is a purpose. This chapter is an invitation to embrace patience, to find peace in God's timing, and to see delay not as a denial but as divine preparation. When we trust that God's timing is perfect, we find ourselves able to let go of impatience and anxiety, resting in the belief that He is arranging every detail for our highest good. Waiting can feel like an empty space, a time where nothing seems to be happening. But with God, waiting is always purposeful. Think of a gardener who plants a seed and then must wait for it to grow. The seed lies dormant underground, hidden from view, but it's not inactive. Beneath the surface, it's developing roots and preparing to break through the soil. Similarly, in seasons of waiting, God is preparing us, developing our character, and setting the stage for what's to come. When we choose to embrace God's timing, we acknowledge that some things are worth the wait. It's a lesson in patience, but also in trust. God's timing often aligns with growth, ensuring that when we receive what we've been waiting for, we're truly ready for it. Peace in waiting comes from surrendering our desire for control. When we release our need to know every detail and every outcome, we open ourselves to a sense of calm. We may not know when or how things will happen, but we know that God is faithful. This faith allows us to shift from anxiety to peace, even when we're in the middle of a long season of waiting. Consider this. A child waiting for a promised gift doesn't worry about the specifics of when or how the gift will arrive. The promise alone brings excitement and comfort, knowing that it will come at the right time. In the same way, we can find peace in the promise of God's faithfulness, resting assured that His timing is just as important as His plan. Embracing God's timing isn't just about waiting passively, it's about actively cultivating patience. Here are ways to practice patience in your daily life. 1. Pray for patience and trust. When impatience creeps in, use it as a cue to pray. Ask for the strength to wait with grace and to trust in God's timing. Patience is often a spiritual exercise, a reminder to align our hearts with God's plan. 2. Focus on the present moment. Often impatience stems from projecting into the future, wondering when things will happen. Ground yourself in the present by focusing on what you can do today, trusting that each small step contributes to God's larger plan. 3. Reflect on past timing. Look back at moments when God's timing played a role in your life. Perhaps you faced delays that later revealed themselves to be blessings. Let these memories reinforce your trust in divine timing. 4. Release the need for control. Remind yourself that waiting doesn't mean you're out of control. It means you're aligning with God's control. Each time you feel the urge to rush, practice releasing that need by saying, "God, I trust your timing." Sometimes, God's not yet is His way of saying, "I'm preparing you." Delays can feel frustrating, but they often hold invaluable lessons, preparing us in ways we may not recognize in the moment. God knows what we need to learn, grow, or let go of before we're ready for the next step. For example, think of David in the Bible. Anointed as king while still a young shepherd, David didn't immediately ascend to the throne. Instead, he spent years facing trials, leading his people, and building his character. By the time he became king, David had developed the resilience, wisdom, and faith needed for his role. Each delay served as preparation, strengthening him for the task God had in store. What are you waiting for in this season of life? Take a moment to reflect on an area where you're feeling impatient or uncertain about the timing. Ask yourself, what might God be preparing me for? When we view waiting as preparation, it becomes easier to accept and even embrace. Invite peace into this space of waiting. Imagine that you are a seed planted in rich soil, drawing in everything you need to grow. Allow yourself to feel nurtured by God's timing, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. Choosing to embrace patience is choosing to trust God's process. It's deciding to rest in His timing rather than rush His plan. When we let go of impatience, we make space for peace, joy, and gratitude in the present. Patience allows us to live fully now, knowing that each moment is part of God's greater tapestry. As you move forward, let this chapter remind you that God's timing is always purposeful. When we embrace patience, we're not just waiting, we're growing, becoming more ready for the blessings He has prepared. Let go of the rush, trust in His timing, and find peace in the journey. Chapter 6. The detour is part of the journey. Trusting the unplanned path. Life rarely unfolds in a straight line. Just when we think we have things figured out, an unexpected turn comes along, a new challenge, a sudden loss, or an unforeseen opportunity that takes us off the planned path. Detours can be disorienting, even discouraging, as they seem to delay us from where we think we're supposed to be. But what if these detours are part of the journey God has designed? What if the path we're on, even with its twists and turns, is exactly where we need to be? This chapter encourages you to trust in the unplanned paths, to see detours not as mistakes but as intentional redirections. God's plan often includes unexpected turns, and each one has a purpose, leading us to growth, understanding, and blessings we may not have anticipated. Embracing the detours as part of our divine journey opens us to a new level of trust and resilience. When a path suddenly shifts, it's easy to feel frustrated, as if all our progress has been lost. But a detour is not a setback. It's often a redirection to something greater. Just because the road looks different from what you planned doesn't mean it's the wrong road. God may be leading you away from what you thought you wanted, only to bring you to something even better. Consider the image of a traveler who takes a wrong turn and discovers a beautiful hidden landscape they would have otherwise missed. Life's detours work the same way. These unexpected paths reveal new aspects of ourselves and open us to lessons we may not have encountered on a straight, predictable road. Detours teach us patience, adaptability, and faith. They remind us that life is not about rigidly adhering to our plans, but about being open to God's guidance in every moment. When we embrace the unplanned, we allow ourselves to grow in ways we hadn't imagined. Sometimes, it's the detours that bring the greatest blessings and the most valuable insights. Reflect on a time in your life when things didn't go according to plan, but ultimately led to a better outcome than you expected. Perhaps a missed opportunity opened the door to a new relationship or job. Or maybe a loss forced you to dig deeper into your faith, revealing a strength you didn't know you had. These moments show us that God's plan often includes paths we wouldn't have chosen, but that serve our highest good. Learning to accept detours as part of God's plan can be challenging, especially when we're in the middle of uncertainty. Here are ways to embrace these unexpected turns with faith and openness. 1. Shift your perspective. When a detour arises, pause and consider that this might be a divine redirection. Ask yourself, what could this new path be teaching me? Shifting your perspective can transform frustration into curiosity. 2. Stay open to new possibilities. Sometimes detours bring us unexpected opportunities. When plans change, keep an open heart and mind. Be willing to see new options and paths that may not have been part of your original vision. 3. Lean into prayer and reflection. When you feel lost or uncertain, turn to prayer. Ask God for clarity and peace in accepting the unplanned path. Reflection can help you find meaning in the moment, even when the bigger picture is still unclear. 4. Trust in God's wisdom. Remind yourself that God sees the entire journey, while we only see one step at a time. Trust that He is guiding you to the right place, even if the route looks different from what you expected. The Bible is filled with stories of individuals who faced detours yet found their purpose through these unexpected paths. Consider the story of Moses. Raised in Pharaoh's palace, Moses was destined for a life of privilege, but his path took a drastic turn when he fled to the desert. This detour, which seemed like a setback, prepared him to lead his people out of Egypt. His years in the wilderness taught him resilience, humility, and faith, qualities essential for his mission. Moses' story reminds us that God's plan often includes detours that shape us into who we need to be. Sometimes these unplanned paths serve as preparation, giving us the skills and perspective needed for our ultimate purpose. When we look back, we see that these twists and turns were not accidents but intentional parts of our journey. Take a moment to reflect on any current or past detours in your life. Is there a path you didn't expect to take, or a change that seemed to derail your plans? How might this detour be part of a greater purpose? Consider writing down your reflections, allowing yourself to explore the possibility that this path is leading you somewhere significant. By viewing detours as part of God's design, you can release the frustration of feeling off track and instead embrace each step as a necessary part of your spiritual journey. Trust that even if you don't see it now, this path is serving you in ways that align with God's ultimate plan for your life. As you move forward, let this chapter remind you that detours are not deviations from God's plan but integral parts of it. When we trust in the unplanned, we release our need to control every outcome and open ourselves to the beauty of unexpected blessings. Each detour strengthens our faith, teaching us to rely on God's guidance and wisdom rather than our own. Embrace the detours, trusting that God is with you on every twist and turn. Let go of the frustration of an altered path, and instead step forward with an open heart, knowing that these unplanned roads may lead to blessings beyond anything you imagined. The detour is part of the journey, shaping you, preparing you, and bringing you closer to the purpose God has for you. Chapter 7. Faith in Action. Living a life that reflects trust. Trust in God is a profound inner commitment, but true faith goes beyond words and beliefs. It's visible in our actions, decisions, and the way we interact with the world. Living a life that reflects trust means embodying your faith in every aspect of your life. It's about letting your choices, your responses, and your attitudes speak of a deep-rooted belief that God's hand is guiding you. This chapter is an invitation to put faith into action, to live each day as a testimony of trust. When faith becomes part of our daily actions, it transforms how we approach challenges, relationships, and opportunities. Our lives then become a reflection of God's love, drawing others toward the peace and strength that come from a life anchored in trust. Living faith in action means approaching life with a steady heart, choosing to respond to situations with trust rather than fear. It's reflected in the courage to pursue your purpose, the resilience to overcome setbacks, and the kindness to serve others selflessly. Faith in action isn't always grand, it's often the small, daily decisions that demonstrate a heart aligned with God. Consider faith as a muscle that grows stronger with use. Each time you act on your faith, choosing trust over worry, love over resentment, and patience over frustration, you strengthen it. These acts of faith aren't just beneficial to you, they are visible to others, showing the world what it looks like to live in trust. Integrating faith into daily life is about letting your trust in God guide every aspect of your journey. Here are practical ways to bring your faith to life. 1. Respond with trust in uncertainty. When faced with an unexpected challenge, choose to respond with faith rather than fear. Remind yourself that God is present, even if the way forward isn't clear. This response not only strengthens your faith but shows others the power of trust in the face of adversity. 2. Pursue your purpose boldly. When you feel a calling or passion, don't hold back. Trust that God has placed this purpose in your heart for a reason. Taking steps toward your calling, even when it's intimidating, demonstrates a profound trust in God's plan. 3. Serve others with compassion. Acts of kindness and service are powerful ways to reflect God's love. Serving others without expectation of reward is a visible sign of faith, showing that your life is guided by a love greater than yourself. 4. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a form of faith in action. It's acknowledging that every blessing, even the small ones, comes from God. Regularly practicing gratitude can deepen your faith, reminding you of God's presence in your life. Living faith in action doesn't mean life will be free from struggles. In fact, challenges are often opportunities to demonstrate faith most profoundly. When we face trials with a spirit of trust, we not only find strength for ourselves, but we also inspire those around us. Consider the story of Esther, who faced enormous risk in choosing to act on her faith. As queen, she had the power to save her people but would have to risk her life to do so. Instead of letting fear control her, Esther trusted in God's plan and acted with courage. Her faith-driven decision didn't just change her own fate, it transformed the fate of an entire people. When we, like Esther, choose to act on our faith in difficult moments, we create ripples of impact. Our choices inspire others to live courageously and to trust in a higher purpose, showing that faith can change lives beyond our own. Take a moment to reflect on how your daily actions reflect your trust in God. Are there areas where fear or doubt hold you back? Are there ways you can demonstrate greater faith in your relationships, your work, or your personal growth? Write down 1 or 2 areas where you can live out your faith more visibly. This could be as simple as choosing patience in a challenging situation, sharing words of encouragement with someone in need, or taking a step toward a long-held dream. Let these actions become small beacons of faith, radiating the strength and peace that come from trusting God. Faith in action is an ongoing journey. Each day presents new chances to live out your beliefs, to let your life reflect the love, trust, and peace that come from a deep connection with God. As you move forward, let your faith be visible not just in your words but in every step you take. Let this chapter serve as a reminder that your life is a living testimony. Each choice, no matter how small, is an opportunity to show what it means to live in trust. Embrace the calling to make faith your foundation, to act with courage and compassion, and to be a light in the world. With each act of faith, you draw closer to God, strengthening not only your spirit but also the faith of those around you. Chapter 8. Embracing your divine purpose. The reward of true faith. As we walk a path of faith, each step is a step closer to understanding our divine purpose. This purpose, unique to each of us, is the culmination of our trials, our trust, and our willingness to let God's plan unfold. Living in faith brings with it a profound gift, the discovery of the purpose God has created specifically for us. This purpose is not only about personal fulfillment, but also about serving a higher calling, touching lives, and creating a legacy of trust and faith for others. In this final chapter, we celebrate the journey of trusting in God's plan. Now, as you stand in alignment with this purpose, you're invited to step fully into the life that faith has prepared you for. This is the reward of a life lived in trust, a purpose that's not just meaningful to you, but that resonates with others, making a difference in ways you may never fully see. Our purpose doesn't usually reveal itself all at once. Instead, it's something that unfolds gradually, like a beautiful sunrise that colors the sky one shade at a time. Each step of faith, each lesson learned in trust, has brought you closer to this purpose. The challenges you faced, the patience you cultivated, the resilience you developed, all of these experiences have prepared you for the unique calling God has placed on your life. Think of purpose as a treasure that's been planted in your heart, growing as you nurture it with faith and trust. This purpose is the expression of God's love through your life. It's how you touch the lives of others, how you reflect His grace, and how you use your gifts to make a lasting impact. Purpose isn't about perfection. It's about using what you've been given in service of a greater good. Living in alignment with your divine purpose means being intentional about the life you lead. Purpose isn't fulfilled by accident. It's something we consciously live out each day. This doesn't mean we won't face setbacks or challenges, but that we approach life with a sense of direction, guided by faith. Here are ways to intentionally live out your purpose. 1. Embrace your unique gifts. Each of us has been given unique talents and strengths. Reflect on your gifts and consider how they can be used to serve others. Your purpose is often connected to the skills and passions that feel most natural to you. 2. Make faith-driven decisions. When faced with choices, choose the path that aligns with God's calling for you. This may sometimes mean taking risks or stepping out of your comfort zone. Trust that God's guidance will keep you on the right path. 3. Serve others selflessly. Purpose often manifests through service. When we use our gifts to uplift others, we fulfill our purpose in a way that aligns with God's vision. Look for opportunities to support, encourage, and inspire those around you. 4. Stay open to growth. Your purpose will evolve over time, and living it out requires continual growth. Be willing to learn, adapt, and deepen your faith as you pursue this calling. Staying connected to God through prayer and reflection helps you stay aligned with your purpose. When we live with purpose, our lives become testimonies of God's love and grace. People are drawn to those who live with intention and faith. They see the peace, joy, and fulfillment that comes from a life rooted in divine purpose. By living out our calling, we inspire others to pursue their own faith journey, creating a ripple effect of trust and hope. Consider the impact of someone like Ruth in the Bible. Her faithfulness and loyalty were small acts in the moment, but they aligned her with God's greater plan. Her choices led to her becoming an ancestor of David and, eventually, Jesus. Ruth's purpose was fulfilled not through grand gestures but through everyday acts of trust and loyalty. In the same way, our purpose often unfolds through small, faithful steps that ultimately contribute to something much larger than ourselves. Take a moment to reflect on the purpose God may be calling you toward. What gifts, experiences, and passions have shaped you for this purpose? How can you use your faith to live this purpose intentionally each day? Consider writing down a commitment to live with purpose, grounded in trust and guided by God's hand. Let this be a daily reminder of the path you've chosen and the journey you've embraced. Celebrate the steps you've taken, knowing that each act of faith has brought you closer to the life you were created to live. As you conclude this journey, know that your faith has led you to a life of meaning and fulfillment. You are part of a divine story, uniquely crafted and unfolding according to God's timing. Trust in His plan has brought you to this moment, and it will continue to guide you as you walk forward in purpose. Let this final chapter be a celebration of all that faith has brought into your life. Embrace your purpose with joy, knowing that your life is a testament to trust, resilience, and love. Every step, every challenge, and every detour has shaped you for this calling. Move forward with confidence, anchored in the faith that has brought you here and guided by the divine purpose you now carry within. Final words. As you close this book, remember that your journey of faith is just beginning. Each step you take, each choice to trust, brings you deeper into alignment with the life God has lovingly crafted for you. Trusting in His plan doesn't mean life will be free of challenges, but it means you will always have an anchor, a purpose, and a divine guide who walks beside you through every season. You are stronger, more resilient, and more prepared than you may realize. Every experience, every detour, and every lesson has shaped you for this moment. Carry the message of trust with you into each day, each relationship, and each opportunity. Let your life reflect the beauty of faith in action, becoming a light for those around you and a testament to God's faithfulness. So step forward with courage, knowing that you are held in God's perfect plan. Embrace each day with gratitude, live with purpose, and let faith guide you into the fullness of all you are meant to be. You are exactly where you need to be. The journey ahead is bright with promise, and you are ready for it. Take care and be well.